Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Forex and cryptocurrency market analysis webinar. I hope you all had a great week. Right, so we've had a number of accurate forecasts over the last couple of weeks. In fact, our forecasts have always been accurate, and on average, you can see that the forecasts are about 90 to 95% accurate from this analysis alone. So I keep talking about the difference between forecasts and trades executed. So the forecast is easy. Anybody can forecast that the market is going to go a certain direction, but the timing of the market and the execution, that is where most traders fail. All right, so as far as execution is concerned, we're about 70-75% accurate, and I will go through the market just now. So what we'll do is we'll go through a bit of a recap. I'm not going to do a lot of recaps. I'm just going to show you one interesting one, and then we can move on. I'm going to show you a few interesting ones just so you can have the confidence in the wave theory. Before we get started, if you'd like to contact us, go to our channel. The YouTube channel is Trading Waves. So you will also find our contact details on the YouTube channel. Under the description, you'll find the contact details. That's your email, the number that you can use via Telegram or WhatsApp, and also our link to our website, which is trading-waves.com. Our social media pages, Twitter and Facebook, you can follow us on either, and you will find all these charts that we're posting before and after. You will also find the chart of the week on our website. So if you visit our website, just check out, look out for the chart of the week, as well as our social media pages where we update the charts that we discuss here and just how they are playing out during the week. So follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and like and comment on our pages as well. So if you have not already subscribed to our channel, please do so, and give us a thumbs up if you like what we do, and we appreciate your feedback and your input. So do drop us a comment. Let's get started with the trade recap. So now here's the one that I want you to look at. This is where most people are struggling. So this is a EURCHF setup before. So you can see where we pinpointed that the reversal is going to happen here. So we anticipated that the reversal, this is on the 5th of February, we anticipated that the reversal is going to happen here after this expanding flat here. So we had the reversal here, and then that dropped. Now a novice will see this and take a trade, and look what happened first before we talk about the novice making the mistake. So let's have a look at how this chart plays out after that. Now you will see that the price moves as forecasted to the downside. Let's just have a look here on the chart afterwards. So let's have a look there. There we have it. Now this was the chart before. This is the chart after. So we have dropped from about 650 to about 426. That is over 220 pips drop. Now remember, the forecast was for this to drop all the way down to about 1,015. Now, what happens if the market pulls back? How do you know that this is time to exit? Okay, because now the market is pulling back, and we are still expecting a move to the downside. You are in the trade. You've already made 220 pips. Do you stay or do you exit and take your profit? Now, it comes back down to understanding the cycle and what a pullback is and what a reversal is. And this is why you will see that on the next one, exactly the same one, this is EURCHF. After we've had the pullback, we knew where this was supposed to make the reversal, which is the blue box area. I've talked about the blue box last week, that this is a high probable area for the market to make a reversal. So even though the market was reversing, even though when we were having this pullback, we were still confident that this is gonna drop as expected. Now you'll see exactly what happens. We were here, we anticipated that the drop is gonna happen at the blue box, and we're still gonna anticipate the drop. Now we got the trade here, 220 pips. This pulls back 60%. So that means 60% of the 220 pips was taken back to the market. Now, do you exit or do you hold on and let the market run? That requires you to be confident that the market will still continue in the direction that you had initially forecasted. And if you do not have that confidence, you are either going to exit prematurely and lose all of this, okay? Or if you've taken the trade late, you took the trade late, you got it here, it's going to drop, you make a few pips, then it reverses against you, okay? Now, as it's reversing, because you do not know whether this is a reversal or this is a pullback or a correction, you are going to exit and you are going to have this loss, and that is why you will not have confidence in the strategy that you're using. So it's important to have the confidence, and we also use the indicator to tell us whether this is a reversal or this is a continuation pattern. So that's why you cannot just use the Elliott wave theory alone. You need a indicator that you can use to trade with confidence. Confidence is absolutely important, because you are going to, if you're not confident, you're going to exit good trade setups that still have potential to move, and you're going to lose money like that. All right, so let's just look at the rest here. So this is Euro New Zealand. This is the chart before here on the New Zealand. So just to show you, similarly, because we were expecting the euros to continue lower, we've got the New Zealand there, that is Euro New Zealand, and this is how it is playing out. All right, so the chart after this is how it's playing out, continues to the downside. Now, what do we expect going forward? You will see that as we start with the market analysis. All right, so that was the Euro New Zealand. Right. Also, watch our video from last week to get an indication of what we're expecting of the market going forward. We also had a Euro pound that we discussed last week that had made this corrective structure, and we were anticipating that it was going to come around this level and we're going to have the drop. How did we know that this is the area where this must now start the drop? So let's have a look at how Euro pound has played out subsequent to that. You'll see that Euro pound has pushed to the upside, and we are now dropping from 847. This is 0.847. We're now at 0.83. That's over, let's just look here. That's over 100 pips drop already. Okay, that is Euro pound. And if you look at last week's video, we discussed this and looked at how this was going to drop. Okay. Those that are interested in the crypto webinar, will look out for it immediately after this, or if you're watching the video, you can just check it out on the YouTube channel. So just look out for the crypto webinar. Okay, the yen pairs, we spoke so much about the yen pairs last week. So if you remember CAD yen last week, we had this structure where we focused that this was going to make the drop. And again, the same thing as I was explaining with the EURCHF. Look at how this pulls back. Okay, as much as we were forecasting this is going to drop last week, the market does not move in a straight line. Market corrects, market pushes, continues to push to the downside. So if you don't have a market that is correcting, then it's not a moving market. That's why even when we have these pullbacks, we still expect that it will continue in the direction that we initially forecasted, as you see here with CAD yen, exactly that. So yes, last week we focused that it reverses here from the blue box, we drop here, we pull back, and focus that we're still going to continue to the downside. We pull back about 70% here, and we continue to the downside. So the market continues in the direction that's forecasted because the cycle is still continuing. As far as the cryptocurrencies is concerned, I'm just going to show you one recap. I'm going to show the rest when we do the crypto currency webinar, so you can look out for it here on the video. So this is Bitcoin. As I have been saying in the crypto webinars, that we should not trade emotionally simply because you've got a portfolio or long-term portfolio on the cryptocurrencies. It does not mean that you should be biased. So we know that the market is not ready for a move to the upside as yet. That's why we're still anticipating that Bitcoin is still going to push lower, maybe even around 28,000, but we're not there yet. We're taking it one wave at a time. So this was Bitcoin 1 hour during the week in our on our website for our members, and this is how Bitcoin is playing out. Okay, like I said, the rest you will see as we start with the crypto webinar. This is the blue box. It's a powerful area for a reversal. So as far as the indicators are showing us, we are still bearish on the cryptocurrencies, and there is no sign of a reversal as yet. Okay, so watch out for more on the crypto webinar. For now, let's get started with the market analysis for this week. What do we anticipate of the market coming into the new week? All right, so let's start with the DXY as well as the euro. I prefer to start with the euro. Now, the euro last week, if you remember, we said that there are only two things that can happen with the euro. We are not bullish with the euro. This is a daily chart. It was around here. I said the least that can happen with this is that it pushes up here and continues to the downside, or it can just push straight down. So that is still in progress. As you can see, we did not make that move to the upside. We are looking for this one here to continue lower. We may even get around this level, make this move here, and make a structure like this before we push to the downside. Okay, let's go down now to the 4 hour just to be a bit more detailed around that area. So that's what we have there, as you can see. So this is where we anticipated that this was gonna start the drop. We get a 3-wave corrective structure here. That is a pullback. We still anticipate the euro to continue pushing to the downside. So nothing has changed there. So just to give you a perspective and why we are expecting the euro to continue lower, this is it here. So on our website, this is what you will find. I want you to have a look on this one here, just this one here on the euro. Let's have a look here. So the euro, is this the euro? Yes, that's euro US dollar. I want you to look at the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, you'll see here this chart. You can see clearly this was on the 13th of February. We came back up here. We pulled back up here, anticipating that this is going to continue to the downside. That is still the case. Those who remember and that have been watching the video will remember that this was not only, we did not only start forecasting the bearish move on the euro from here. Even when we were here, when this was here, we expected that the euro was going to push to the upside and we're going to have the drop. Okay, so if you just remind you here on the 30th of January, we looked at exactly that on the euro. Let's just go to the 30th of January so you can have that recap on the euro. So look at that here. So look at the chart here on the euro. Remember when we were here, we are still bearish. We pushed to the upside, we dropped. Now we've pulled back to around the same area. We're still anticipating the drop because the indicator is still saying that we are going to continue lower. So just to show you there, so that was the forecast before. This is the forecast after. So look at this here. Forecast was 1, 2, and we got exactly that. Okay, 1 and 2. This is the forecast, 1, 2, as anticipated. Where are we now? We are here now. We've pulled back almost exactly at entry. So that's why we're still anticipating that this is going to continue to the downside. So we are still bearish the euro. We are still bullish the DXY for the next coming session. So that's what we have here on the euro. The DXY, similarly, also when on the 30th, when we were anticipating a drop on the euro, we were anticipating that this was going to push to the upside from here. Remember this structure here on the DXY, we pushed to the upside. Okay, we're anticipating that the DXY is going to continue pushing to the upside here. Okay, so we're anticipating that this is going to continue pushing to the upside. We're going to have this one is 1, 2, 3. This could even be a double correction as follows, where this becomes the W, the yellow, X, and we get another Y here. Okay, if that is the case, that means we're still going to have this one coming down here in this fashion. 1, let's draw it cleanly. 1, my mouse is becoming skew. 1, 2, 3 here. A bigger structure here where we get this one being 1, 2, 3. Why am I expecting 3, 4, 5 here? Obviously, this is not up to scale. This can be longer. It's because we're still expecting the wave 5 to complete that move. All right, so let's have a look here at how this is going to play out. For now, let's just have a look here at this pullback, which could play out potentially as follows. And we have the last move here. Okay, that's what we have there. So next immediate move, look out just for this to get around 97 here on the DXY initially. Pound US dollar, you've seen last week, we're anticipating that this was going to make a 1 and 2 and a 3 and then a drop. So that's what we're still anticipating. We've got that on pound US dollar, that pullback here, which is an A, B, C corrective structure. We may push slightly up higher here before the drop, but essentially we're looking for this one to give us the drop to the downside so we can have something like this here on the pound. So still bearish here, pound US dollar. US dollar CAD, you saw the blue box last week. You can refer to last week where we found this one to be reversing from the blue box, looking at this structure. So we still have this one here. We've got this pullback here. We anticipate that this is going to continue pushing to the upside, especially with the US dollar strength. Right now, we've got US dollar CHF. which last week we anticipated that it was going to continue to push to the upside around this level. Let's just have a look here. So around this level last week, simply because of the strength in the US dollar, this was here, it has already dropped here. So because of that, we anticipated that this was going to make at least a push to the upside and then a drop. But that drop, if you look at this one here, it's actually coming in 3 waves. So let's have a look here. So this is one here, that's the drop. That spike that you see there is actually a drop. And you've got this one here as a running flat. We've got this one here. So it will not be surprising to see this one being 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 there. You get your nice WXY structure here on the US dollar CHF, and then we start that corrective structure. So let's see here how this plays out. So we could be having this structure here, which can be something this big before we continue to the upside. So as to how this integrates with the rest of the structure, we're not going to cover this right now. We're just going to look at the next move, which is the Y in yellow for the next coming session. Audi US dollar, we anticipated the drop from last week. Remember last week on Audi US dollar, it was simply this ABC corrective structure. We had forecasted the blue box here and that this was going to drop. Now again, we've got a pullback. Is that a reversal or a pullback? Absolutely, it's definitely a pullback. So we still anticipate that this was going to continue to the downside. At least back around this level, that is what we anticipate of Audi 1, 2, 3 up. 1, and we're anticipating this to drop here. Audi US dollar. New Zealand, same structure. Forecasted that this was going to make a 3-wave pullback. If you remember our blue box from last week, we have dropped in 3 and we are now pulling back here to around this level. We anticipate that this is going to continue pushing to the downside. This is an ABC corrective structure as well. So we anticipate this to continue dropping to the downside. You can see that this is not dropping aggressively, especially with a deeper pullback like this. And that could mean that you've got a structure like this here, which means you're going to have a bigger WXY corrective structure here, like that WXY corrective structure before the drop. Like I said, we're not going to worry about the rest of the structure. We're going to take it one wave at a time. We're going to wait for this one to continue the drop to the downside, at least back around this area. That is New Zealand. US dollar ZAR. Now, US dollar ZAR, I keep saying that this one is usually correlated to US dollar CAD. So we've got this one here. This is coming down correctively and it looks like it's making an 11 swing sequence. We've got that here, we've got that here. So we could have this one here doing the same, pushing to the upside, coming back down for another leg to the upside. That would be a WXY, XZ corrective structure here before a push to the upside. All right, so that is a US dollar ZAR for now, not so clear, nothing tradable right now, no confirmation as yet. Right now we've got pound yen. Pound pairs are looking downside. So we had this one making a 1. Let's just have a look here, making a 1, 2, 3 here, and now dropping as follows. Now this drop is also not so aggressive. We've got this one here making a 1, a 2, and a 3 here. So likely that you start getting this one to push to the downside to complete that red structure here, 1, 2, 3. So let's see how this one goes here. So it may not just go down in a straight line. It looks too obvious as it is now. So anticipation is that this could even make a structure like this. So just to be closer to this one here, it looks too easy to just drop like that. So you have 3 here, you can have another 3 here coming down like that. So either that or we just drop straight from there. So we'll wait for the one that confirms first. US dollar yen. Right, so let's have a look at US dollar yen. So US dollar yen, we had these 3 waves here initially. Let's get that right. We had these 3 waves initially, which we anticipated was going to drop here, but instead it has made a move to the upside. So this is our orthodox low here. So let's just have a look here. Let's confirm. So this is our orthodox low. So that means that this was not our low here. Our low is actually here. So that's what we have here on US dollar yen. So that means from here, you've got a corrective structure and we can start the drop. Any corrective structure here, we can look for this one to pull back slightly. That is US dollar yen. Euro yen also forecasted that this was going to drop from last week. If you look at last week's video, we forecasted these 3 wave structure with a blue box right here. We are dropping and some people may have panicked and exited when this was pulling back here, but we are still holding this one here for downside. We still anticipate euro yen to continue the drop. Okay, so you see here, you can see how sharp this is here. this looks like it was going to make a reversal, right? But we know that this is a pullback, it's a corrective structure. Sometimes you need that experience to tell you that when the market is doing this, it's not reversing, it's just setting up for another leg to the downside or to the direction that you have forecasted. So that's how simple the euro is, that's how simple US CHF yen is. CHF yen has made a double correction here already, 1, 2, 3. So from there, we've been anticipating CHF yen to drop, but it drops and gives us a pullback, but we're still anticipating the continuation to the downside, even if that continuation to the downside is simply just these 3 waves here, 1, 2, 3 here, because it does not look aggressive at this stage. We've got the W, we've got the X here, we've got the Y here. So we're coming down here with another 3 legs. So let's see how this is going to play out, at least back around this level on CHF yen. AUD yen. Again, another one of those that we forecasted the recap on the recap that is making a 3-wave structure. Let's draw that 3-wave structure properly. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. Now we've got the drop, we've got another pullback here, and that pullback is a textbook 3-wave structure with 1, 2, 3 here, where we anticipate that this can still drop to the downside. Okay, so that is AUD yen, New Zealand yen, the same. We also had this one, 3-wave structure. Nothing has changed as far as the structure and the forecast is concerned. We've got that. That's why it's easier to focus and just say this is going to drop. But when you're actually in the trade and the market is reversing to about 80% and giving back almost 80% of all the gains, what do you do? So that's the tricky part. So we are still anticipating that this is going to continue to the downside after that 3-wave pullback. CAD yen. CAD yen, we spoke about CAD yen as well. Having made this 3-wave corrective structure, 1, 2, 3, we are now dropping, as you can see, 1 pullback, anticipating that this is going to at least come back to around 89.50 for another, before we get another leg to the downside. So we've got 1, 2, 3 here. We can have this one making 1, 2, 3 there. So let's see here if CAD yen can get back up until 89. That will be a very nice WXY corrective structure, which can give us another leg to the upside, but we're not going to look at that, just looking for the next immediate move. Right, gold, we were anticipating a reversal on gold. We didn't get that right. Let's see here how the structure is developing. Let's have a look at gold. So this is a possible structure here on gold. We've got 1, we've got 2, you've got 3 here. So gold can retest around 1915. Let's see what happens at that level. Now, if we test 1915 with a 3-wave structure like this, even if we do see gold coming back down here with 3 waves, we're not going to look at it as a bearish move, but rather that this correction is still going to continue before we get this leg here, before we get another one to the upside. But as you can see, this is a daily chart, long-term forecast. So we want to see here what happens when we get to about 1915. Are we going to get the reversal and drop all the way back? So that's what we're looking at on gold. Let's have a look. And that looks like a very nice structure on gold. Could play out very nicely with this ABC here in purple, with this WXY here in yellow. And then let's see here. Right, so that's what we have. Then we can have also a nice WXY here in the white degree. Let's see how that plays out. Right, silver. Obviously, silver will follow the gold structure. So let's see if silver is simply going to make a structure like this, 1, 2, 3, and then we also see the reversal here. So we're going to have this one here, 1, 2, 3. So you can see that I'm only just giving you the long-term focus here. We need to see that the structure is clear first. So we can have this one here on silver first. So let's see how that plays out. Platinum still playing out as expected, although we did not quite get that drop. We're anticipating the drop here on platinum. We're anticipating that from here, we're going to have this as 1, 2, 3, and the drop. But we are now retesting this level here. Is it that we're going to get a structure like this here? From around that level, there's a possibility we get this here, we get this here on platinum. You just need to watch for the commodities in this week. Do not rush into them. The structures are not as clear yet. Right, so that is a platinum. A Brent crude oil continues to push to the upside. If I just zoom in here on the last leg, you'll see that Brent crude oil is making 1, 2, 3. And what we have here is a 4 and we're going to have a 5 here. Why is this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? This is the last leg of the 5th. You'll see just now when I go to the higher degree. We're anticipating that this is now going to give you a wave 5 to possibly 104. Okay, so let's go weekly chart. Why are we saying that that is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That's because of this. Remember the structure we're looking at here on oil. You've got wave 1, 2. You've got wave 3 here. Let's show 3 properly. That 3 has got a running flat there. So that's wave 1, 2, 3. Not doing it correctly here. Let's do it properly. So that is our wave 3. 1, 2, 3 there. That's our wave 3. And we are currently in this wave 5. What you saw with the white letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is this one that I'm talking about. And what is left here of oil to get to 104 is this piece here. This is the piece that we're looking for. That wave 5 in the white degree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the white degree. And then that would be the 5 in the purple degree. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 in purple. So we anticipate that we're going to have 1, 2, 3. That is the current 4 here that is pulling back, and we're looking for that last leg 5 here. Right, so that's what we have on Brent crude oil. Look for continuation to the upside. I'm on the 4-hour here. So the 4-hour is showing you a continuation pattern. So that is a structure. There is a blue box set up there on oil. 1, 2, 3. You can look for this one to push to the upside in the coming week. Watch out for that on Brent crude oil. Looking at the pound pairs, pound Audi last week, we were looking for this one to have made a 3-wave structure, to have started the move to the upside and pulling back here like that. We can still get that, although that is now, that has not gone aggressively. We may get this on pound Audi, that this is a 3 waves. We can get another 3 waves around that level, and we can get another 3 waves. Let's do it like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and a move push to the upside, which is going to give us this WXY corrective structure. So let's watch it for this week and see what we get there. New Zealand, we've been anticipating the New Zealand to start pushing to the upside with this structure being a wave 1, 2, 3. Now we've got this 1, 2, 3. Looks like we're going to have 1, 2, 3 again as well. Let's see this one come around this level for this corrective structure here. We can start seeing a continuation to the upside. Pound CAD. Right, so pound CAD, this is the anticipation here. Wave 1, 2, 3, like that. And then we'll be looking for this one to start pushing to the downside. Pound CHF. Now, pound CHF could still continue to the upside. What we have here on pound CHF is a structure like this. You've got this one here as a running flat. Okay, we made a push to the downside. We've got a 1, 2. Likely that we can get this one pushing to the upside here to give us this bigger corrective structure here. So let's see. This is an ABC corrective structure here on pound CHF. We may still push to the upside slightly. Euro pound, you already saw this one during trade recaps that we're anticipating a move to the downside. This is where we picked it up from the blue box. We're still anticipating that this is going to continue lower. If we see a pullback, this is just that, a pullback, and this should continue to the downside. That is a Euro pound, Euro Audi. The Euro is looking weak overall. Let's have a look. So you've got 3 waves here. You've got what looks like another 3 waves down, another 3 waves up. Now we're dropping here with an impulse, so we could be making a structure like this. As far as EURAUD is concerned, we are right here. We're looking for this one to come around this level to possibly complete that purple structure like that. Let's see how this plays out. Looking pretty interesting though. Euro New Zealand, also we've seen this one. We've shown this one during trade recaps, right? So we've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3 here. We have dropped here in 3. Likely that we're going to have a pullback here and a continuation to the downside. This pullback alone does not look enough. We can get a pullback and still continue to the downside. The structure could be bigger, but for now, do not rush into it. If you're not in the trade, just wait for it to give you an entry or give you a continuation pattern to the upside. That is Euro New Zealand. You stay away from that for now. EURCAD, also just going sideways here. We've got 1, 2 here, we could be getting a structure like this, like that. Remember, we already have here, we already have this 3 ways to the downside, W, X, and we could still get a Y before we continue to the upside. So let's wait for this purple structure here to build, then we'll see what direction we get here. We could get a nice blue box area there at the Y area for a leg to the upside, but we wait and for the cycle to confirm. EURCHF, you saw how we focused on this one during trade recaps 3 times when this one was here, the blue box, and we have now dropped, we pulled back, we got another new blue box, we're pulling back. Now, if we get another blue box, we're gonna keep trading it like that, we're gonna keep trading like that until we reach our target. That's how we trade. Right, Audi New Zealand, we're waiting to see if we're gonna have a reversal at current levels. It is very likely that we're gonna have this as a wave 1, 2, 3, and we get the drop here. So let's see how this is going to play out here on Audi New Zealand. Very likely we're going to start seeing the drop. But first, let's wait for this structure. If this structure plays out, you're going to get one more up here. AUDCAD. So the Audis, all the Audis we were anticipating that they were gonna continue dropping, especially after this continuation pattern which we've been tracking and we've been selling from here. Now we've made the pullback. Is this a pullback or a continue or a reversal? I'm looking at this one here to come around this level and continue lower. AUDCHF, one of those slow movers, right? So we've got 1. We've got 2, we've got 3 here. We can get this one to start the drop here and play out this WXY corrective structure here. This week, the crosses are not as clear as they were last week. So we are looking at this one here now on New Zealand CAD. Let's have a look here. You have got this running flat, 1, 2, 3. We could be there now at the blue box area where we could get the drop. New Zealand CHF, the pullback is not complete. We've got 1, 2. We can get this one pushing a little bit higher to around this level for another leg to the downside. CADJPY. CADJPY, we've got 3 waves down. We've got to move to the upside as follows. That's an impulsive move. That looks like a 3-wave structure. We can have this one here. So CADJPY, we can have a bounce around this level. I'm only showing you the short-term view, the zoomed-in view for this one here. I'm not showing you the rest of the structure. So for now, look out for a bounce here on CADJPY, and we could have a structure like this that gives you WXY. All right, so those are the Forex and the commodities pairs. So let's now go into the indices. Indices last week, we said there's a pullback and we're going to continue to the downside. I'm not going to do the comparison between the Dow Jones Industrial and the Dow Jones Transportation again. Look out for the last 2 weeks video, for the videos that we did in the last 2 weeks. You'll see how we detailed that this will continue to drop, that we're going to have a reversal from around this level area. Even though this one has gone and made a new high here, we anticipated that this is going to drop, this is going to pull back, and we're going to get continuation to the downside. That is still the view. We're still going to see continuation to the downside. And I've shown that with the comparison between the Dow Jones Industrial, which, if you look at the Dow Jones Industrial, did not give an early warning, but because of the relative strength between the Dow Jones Industrial and the Dow Jones Transportation, we anticipated that even if this is pulling back here, it is still going to continue to the downside. Now, look at the Dow Jones Transportation. You'll see that the Dow Jones Transportation already changed direction much earlier here. So we are already seeing that the indices are going to start changing direction. So we are still bearish on the indices, still looking for more downside. That's why you can see on the NASDAQ, NASDAQ had already made a strong impulsive move to the downside, and it looks like it's making 5 waves here. So even if we can still drop here and we can still get a pullback to around this level, but that will still be bearish on the NASDAQ. UK 100. Eventually, it looks like we are going to have that last move here dropping here to give us a 3-wave pullback. Okay, so that's what we have here on the UK 100. Let me just show you the structure here. So the UK 100, you'll see this is the structure we showed last week, and that there's divergence here, so we can get the drop here, at least 3 waves back. DAX, we want to see the DAX come around this area. Let's see if we're going to start pushing to the upside. We've got a 1, 2, 3 here. It's a nice flat correction here on the DAX, and we'll look for this one to start pushing to the upside from around that level. Nikkei. Now the Nikkei, we are still waiting for this structure. We've been looking at this structure for months now. 1, 2, 3. Is it time for the Nikkei to start pushing to the upside? Let's see in the next coming session if that's going to be the case. Then we start getting these moves to the upside. We start trading this to the upside here. So that's what we're looking at there on the Nikkei. And lastly, the Nifty. Looking at the Nifty, let's have a look. With the Nifty, this is a possibility here. We've got a move up here on this corrective structure. We've got this here. So this structure is still in the making. We've got a 5 down here. We've got an impulse. We've got this move here. So this can still make a push to the around this level. We can still come back down here and push and get a structure like this. So for now, we'll look out for the Nifty to push slightly up. It is still very bearish. So even if we do push to the upside, it will just come around this level and we continue lower to eventually make a bigger corrective structure like that. And that's all for this week, guys. If you like what we do, give us a thumbs up, drop us a comment, hit that bell notification button so that you get an alert the next time we upload a video. Share the videos and like them on our social media pages as well. Thank you very much for watching. Trade responsibly. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.